On his 25th birthday, Leo Vinci opens the silver casket that his father has left to him. It contains a letter recounting the legend of a white sorceress who rules an African tribe and of his father's quest to find this remote race. To find out for himself if the story is true, Leo and his companions set sail for Zanzibar. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I am your host Liam, aka Hemvar. Today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of H. Rider Haggard's She, A History of Adventure. She, A History of Adventure, often just called She, is an 1887 novel, though originally actually serialized in the graphic from October 1886 to January of 1887. H. Rider Haggard is part of a romantic revival, along with authors like William Morris and Robert Louis Stevenson, from that same general time period as The Story of the Glittering Plain by Morris, which I also recently reviewed. I honestly found it pretty easy to read, and it is written in first person from Horace Hawley's point of view. There are some other things that make it just pretty fun, honestly. This is taken as like a personal account, of course, hence the first person point of view. And, considering it's written in 1887 and it deals with Africa, this is going to deal with some things that I guess some modern readers might not find comfortable. It has those problems. And, if that isn't your thing, then don't read this. Personally, I found it very enjoyable. Horace Hawley and his ward, Leo Vinci, set out to find a lost kingdom in the interior of Africa. This book couldn't be written today. Hawley is a professor at Cambridge, and Leo was his best friend's son. The story actually starts with Leo's father charging Hawley to watch after his son. He gives him a box that isn't to be opened until his son's 25th birthday. What is in the box leads him on an adventure. The Anahaga are a tribe that are a race ruled by She who must be obeyed, who is a character that is essential to the story, and I'll talk a little bit about the influence that Haggard had here on a certain author later. Hawley himself is quite ugly, though young Leo is very good looking, and people call them Beauty and the Beast because of this. There's another character named Job. He's definitely a side character. He's a servant of Hawley. There is some magic here. There is some Egyptian stuff. There is some Greek stuff in here, all ancient, of course. And there is a lot of the uncanny. It does romantic very well. Exoticism, grotesque. Again, so like I mentioned earlier, it's definitely a little racist. It's definitely misogynistic, for sure, in ways. What's weird about that last part is the narrator admits to misogyny, and it's interesting. The power of the titular character is obviously a woman, and there are also some old-fashioned thoughts about some other groups of people, like the lower class, for example, which is very interesting. I'm not actually sure on Haggard's class, I suppose. So I don't know if this is just Hawley's viewpoint or actually Haggard's. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just Hawley's because of the first person point of view, but I could totally be wrong on that. But what's really done well here is the lost history and the civilization here. And we have this really cool idea of a person as a relic, kind of reminding me somewhat of like other stories like Dracula, of course, or maybe Melmoth the Wanderer, which I haven't read yet, but which is, this person who is She, of course, or Ayesha, is even cooler than, say, like the physical remnants of this kingdom called Kor. I want to say that Haggard was a large influence on two of fantasy's greatest, that is J.R.R. Tolkien and Robert E. Howard. Now, Tolkien admitted that he read She several times when he was younger and wrote a poem based on the city of Kor, which I have shared on this channel, actually. Ayesha is also, with her reflecting pool, the influence almost certainly for Galadriel and her mirror in The Lord of the Rings. And the lost civilization of Kor and She is kind of very evident when you read of the Hyborian Age by Howard. So pretty cool to see these two authors that are generally considered the guys to look to for where we get our modern fantasy genre and how they were influenced by Haggard, who's of course of a generation before them. So, which makes sense, right? That's how these things typically work, which is where a lot of people are inspired by Tolkien's works today. Same with Howard's. So, anyways, this has been Liam with Liam's Lyceum. I will say that I really enjoyed She. Looking forward to more books by Haggard, such as Eric Bright Eyes, what is it, King Solomon's Mines, and there's actually at least one sequel, I think maybe a couple to She. So let me know which one you think maybe I should read first, but I will catch you next time.